I am very pleased to welcome this morning Pam Didner. She's the Global Marketing Strategist for Intel. Welcome, Pam.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for actually coming to listen to me speak on Saturday morning at 8:30. I suspect you guys have nothing to do. But anyway, before I get started, I would like to make a quick announcement. And there are some unsung heroes actually put this event together. So they are Nicole, Rick, Aaron, Shaoli, Judy, Brianna, Rachel, and led by Chad, Michael, and the AV guy in the back, Scott, and the IT guy here, Ed. Can we give them a round of applause? Thank you so much for putting this event together. All right, very good. Now I can get started. And before I did my presentation, I actually looked at the 86 email list, I think as a part of the booklet everybody received. And I did a little bit of audience mix analysis. So 75% of you are actually marketing professions that does either web design, digital marketing, marcom, creative, messaging, PR. And the other 25% tend to be administrators, teaching faculties, professors. And the breakdown of the industries, about 11 of you probably, I was guessing, nonprofit, government, and also some of the nonprofit association. About 38 of you are SMBs, actually own a lot of small businesses and doing either related on the marketing agency side of things or on the client. And about 24 administrators, teaching faculties, professors. I think by looking at the name of the companies, about 12 you are actually belongs to a big enterprises. With that being said, I actually tailor my presentation more on the SMB, how to do some of the integrated marketing based on small budget. So I want to share some of the ideas from examples from other countries, if you will. And they are actually not about Intel. So Intel is a global company. We have 100,000 person around the globe. And we have about 400 or 500 marketing managers in over 50 countries. And at any given time, if you think about it, someone needs to actually share with all those marketing managers in terms of when the product will be launched, what to say about the products, what creative concept that we will use, and which are priority countries that will receive the budget. So whose job is that? My job, which is kind of boring. And there's a lot of drama involved. And it's all good. It's all good. At the end, world peace. So that is my job. But today, I'm going to spend very little time talking about Intel and share some of the examples I have seen in other countries in terms of what they do integrated marketing. And I hope you will find it very interesting. All right, let's see. What else? And I did spend a lot of time. I'm talking a lot of time on this presentation. I make it visually compelling so you guys will not fall to sleep and say, seriously, Saturday, 8:30, I'm coming to listen to your boring presentation. I really try to make it very, very fun. So stay tuned for that. Another thing I want to share with you, if you are online, I uploaded my presentation on slideshare.net/pdidner. You can actually see my presentation on slideshare.net. I also uploaded to www.pamdidner.com. I'm actually a blogger as well. Blogging is hard. I need a therapy session for that, but that will be later. Anyway, so with that being said, that's just a couple items I want to share with you before I get started. Here, and at Pam Didner, that's how I introduce myself nowadays. And I think moving forward, that probably will be all our official names in the next 25 years. Can you imagine the next generation of youth, if you go talk to them, hey, at Pam Didner, how are you? And they turn around and say, Ed, I'm awesome. Nice meeting you at I Am Awesome. So I feel that the way that we introduce ourselves moving forward probably will change due to the rise of social media as well. So I'm just going to go through a couple boring slides. The definition of integrated marketing, if you read this, a strategic marketing process specifically designed to ensure all messagings and communication strategy are unified across all channels and center around customer-driven messaging and creative. If you guys have taken Bill's 601 course, which is talking about the basic of integrated marketing, messaging, creative, that's part of the is 601 or 610? Not sure. Bill was teaching like a 610. So they were talking about basic of the messaging and the creative. So that's good, right on target, right? Definition 2, the development of marketing strategy and the creative campaigns that weave together multiple marketing disciplines and that cross multiple different marketing channels, which are selected and executed to suit a particular goal of brand. Similar? Yeah, it's probably all the definition. I got this from Wikipedia. Yay! Very similar to everything that you have read. So that summarizes the definition really quickly. It's a campaign that will bring strategy to life with consistent messagings and creative. And I do agree with Keith's comments yesterday, if you guys were at his breakout session, that he was talking about, hey, don't do social media for the sake of doing social media. Have some sort of business objective in mind, and I 100% agree. Any kind of campaigns or any kind of integrated marketing that you do, make sure that you do it with a specific or sense of purpose. So start with objective and success measurements. Of course, a lot of the channels, the marketing channel you are aware of, retail channels, social media, advertising, search, events, email, it's not a surprise to you, right? You want to make sure all those channels are integrated with consistent creative and the look and feel. However, I beg to differ. One of my favorite shows, one of my favorite animals. Integrated marketing is evolving. So NASCAR, sorry, I apologize. NASCAR, and David was talking about his effort of integrated marketing, right? Which is, if you see it, and if you show a slide, listed probably 10 departments that are working together. And I kind of convert that slides into a very similar format I just shared with you. Now, if you look at the way they did integrated marketing, is they take marketing research, they take technical innovations, they take operations, all that as a part of integrated marketing effort. So the integrated marketing actually has reached beyond just traditional marketing channel. And David's example was actually perfect to share with you in terms of the integrated marketing has been evolving. So with that being said, I understand all of us, including myself, probably not very senior, and we are doing our own thing. But even with that, it's actually important to think about it. From the job that you are doing, it doesn't matter you are agency doing for the client, so you're on the client side doing your job. You need to think about it. Even with your job is only doing email marketing, how do you do integrated marketing from your role? Does that make sense? So if you actually have a specific objective, which is generate leads for your company, for example, that's your objectives. And what are a couple other channels within your company that you should work together? So what is your marketing mix? What is your integrated marketing plan? It doesn't have to be complicated. Start it with your role first. So this is just a slide I want to share with you in terms of thinking integrated marketing from your role, from where you are sitting. What are the specific departments you need to work together? But if you are a very senior person, then you probably need to think about it in terms of, for your company, what are some of the departments that you need to pull together, try to connect more dots. Okay. So give some thoughts. All right, when I was looking at the audience mix, and I noticed a lot of you are actually SMB, which is small and medium-sized companies. And some of you are probably 1 or 2 person shop. And yesterday when you were listening to David, and they are big companies, and now you are listening to me, and we are big companies. And I can share with you a lot of stuff that Intel does. And you will be looking at me and say, seriously, I don't have that kind of budget. And I do agree with you. So what I want to do is share with you some of my thoughts in terms of how to do integrated marketing with a small budget. Okay. But before we go further, there's a couple things I want to share with you. And I was a teaching instructor actually for 3 years. I love to do stuff by boxes. Can you tell? So I created 4 quadrants. There's a big and small. When I say big and small, it's a big budget, small budget. Big scope, small scope. Okay? Sometimes it doesn't have to be big budget. It can be big scope. And that requires a lot of manpower to get it done, but with little budget. Okay? Traditional, new. Traditional marketing, new marketing. When I say traditional marketing, pay media, out-of-home print, those are more traditional marketing. Yeah? New marketing, the more of the social media type of effort, more of the user-generated type of marketing campaigns, new and the traditional. And again, don't feel like you have to take a lot of notes. I already have a presentation on slideshare.net. Download them. So how do I define them? Traditional and big tend to be product launches. You have big press announcements. Something is coming up from your company. Big. Okay, so it can be a big product launches, big services launches. New and big tend to be technology-driven customer experience. And I will talk a little bit about that. And then traditional and small tend to be regular and the routine marketing effort that you do on weekly or timely basis. And I will give you a quick example. And the new and small start with a piece of content or one idea. I will talk about that as well. So these are how I will share with you in terms of the couple examples. Okay. And I will share examples from 4 countries. USA, yay. UK, yay. Brazil, and South Korea. Yay. Some of you say no yay for them. You are right. Okay. I'm glad you guys are laughing. Made my day. Traditional big product launches, boom. Product launches. And this is an example I want to share that's an Intel specific example. We always have product launches in terms of a new generation of processors. A lot of processor is pretty much the same to you because it's embedded inside and you cannot smell, see, and feel about it. But we try to make a new processor faster and faster and faster every 18 months. That's called Moore's Law, and some of you probably are aware of it. So in a way, we actually have a product launch of new generation of processors almost every single year, if nothing else, every 18 months. And we tend to do worldwide product launches. Remember I was talking about we have 4 or 5 marketing managers down on the ground in over 50 countries. When we do our launches, we usually do a launch in over 20 countries at any given time. And imagine doing just a product launch in one country or even in multiple regions, and some of you probably have to work with the different regional offices to get that ramp and get that launch. And imagine that scale in over 20 countries. So to do that well, we actually got our recipe down. And very similar to David's approach, we also actually have a multiple different marketing function we know that needs to get involved in terms of product launches. So obviously, a lot of those marketing functions are, how should I say, no surprise to any one of you. You know, PRs needs to get involved. because we are selling the product, so we need to actually have the retailers to get involved. And partner marketing, we don't sell. Who buys processors? None of you do, right? But you buy PC, you buy tablets, you buy some other devices. So we work very, very closely with our OEMs and our partners. And of course, Intel.coms that will show up the newest products. And Serge and Keith was talking about influencers. David was talking about influencers. We also identify who are the key influencers talking about different kind of processors and make sure that they write about the new generation of our product. So it's a very similar type of approach, but it's worldwide type of effort. All right, this photo, can somebody name this photo? I know it's a hockey team. I know it's USA, but what year? 1980, yes, you guys are right. 1980, yes. The Winter Olympics, I think that's the first time we actually beat USSR. USSR, that's how we called them. And why does this photo have anything to do with my presentation? None. I just like the photo. But if nothing else, this demonstrates team spirit, right? And this is a team which is a fairly much of underdog, but they work together, and one player, I cannot remember who, sorry, scored the last point, literally 5 seconds to the game. And to be honest with you, in a way that you have to do a worldwide launch is also a team needs to be placed together, and they have to work together in a way that to make sure that the launch will be flawless. All right, I found this image. Go Mountaineers. So the concise strategy plan that to rally the team, there's a couple things which is very, very important if you want to do a worldwide launch or for anything that's marketing related. Always sit back and think about what is the business objective you want to accomplish. To me, that's very important. And then convert that business objective into a marketing objective, and they are different. Business objective can be growth revenue by 10%. The marketing objective is what marketing effort that you need to do to actually grow that 10%. Does that make sense? There's multiple different marketing options that you should do, right? It can be an email campaigns, it can be something else, advertising. It really depending on what is your marketing objective. I think he's said it pretty well in terms of if you want to build awareness, maybe TV commercial makes a lot of sense. But if you want to drive leads, emails probably should be the one that you have the most dollar allocated, or even events. Does that make sense? So you have to understand in terms of your business objective, and you need to convert that into your marketing objectives. Your marketing objectives will determine what is the proper marketing channels that you will leverage. So when I said here, this is kind of very important. Usually when I work with my geographies, they will say, Pam, I got it, your business objective, I got your marketing objective. Now what I need from you is what creative can I use? What can I say, which is messaging. If you work with any agency, if you're on client side, they will ask you 3 things, literally. First one, what do you want to accomplish? What is your marketing objective? What creative can I use? Messaging, what can I say? So in a way, that's a brief, right? So if you're on client side and working with agency, that's a brief you have to write. What do you want to accomplish? What can I say? What kind of creative can I use? My GOs ask me that all the time. What can I say about that product? All right, give me a couple minutes, okay, I'll get back to you. And then also what kind of creative can I use? So these are the couple things you have to keep in mind. To me, those are very, very important. So I write it down, product messages, position, creative. And another thing they always ask me, how much money do I have? You have none. No, I'm kidding. So that's another thing that always worth a discussion. Yeah, I know, me too. I totally understand. She said, as a story of her life, no budget. And I said, you know what, me too. I'm a B2B gal. So Intel does marketing on the consumer marketing and the business marketing, right? Some of you probably are B2B people, I assume. And guess who get most of the love and the budget? Consumer. Guess who actually, guess which side I am in? B2B. And I'm still smiling, and I'm not bitter. I promise you, I am not bitter. All right, so to me, this is very important, and the way to rally everybody, the 400 or 500 marketing managers worldwide, I make sure I have those 5 elements in place. Once you have those 5 elements in place, you minimize drama. You still have drama, but you minimize it because you set expectations up front in terms of what you want to do and what you want to accomplish. So, integrated marketing, remember the 4 quadrants I was talking about? And I'm talking about traditional and big, and product launches is really an example I'm sharing with you in terms of traditional and big. Tend to be big budget, top-down driven, campaign driven. When I say campaign, you do it once, then you go dark. Does that make sense? Product launches or any kind of launches, you do it big time, 3 or 4 days or 1 day, and then you go dark. So it's very much campaign driven. And then marketing takes the lead. So that's some of the characteristic. Some of the best practices to do the launches as such, and I advise this actually for some of you if you are doing cross-regional collaborations. It does require some time for us. It's literally 4 to 6 months of planning, and we actually have a bi-weekly meetings. We also have a timely launch updates with our geographies and regional offices, and we have a clear roles and responsibility between headquarters and the regional. The one that headquarters needs to be responsible is budget allocation, creative guidance, strategy setting, and also messaging. Then the geographies will be looking at all the information we provided and determine what is the right campaign to make it happen. Social media might work for the US, but may not work in India. Email works perfectly in Germany, but seriously, it's not something that China would do. Does that make sense? They will determine what is the right marketing mix for their regions. It's not for the headquarters to make that decision. We provide some overall guidance, and they will take that in, customize as needed, translate it as needed, and also determine the right marketing channels to do the launches. And then we have a regular checkpoint meetings with the management and share with the manager in terms of what our plans are. Any questions so far? Am I talking too fast? Cool, thank you. All right, now go back to the quadrants. I want to talk about technology-driven customer experience. And what do I mean by that? To me, that's actually a new form of integrated marketing. And you can see technology-driven. And I want to share with you an example. So there was one slide I shared with you in terms of, you know, you have objective in the middle, and there's a different circles, which is different marketing channels that you have to tap into to drive integrated marketing effort. The technology-driven type of experience is using technology to make your customers' life easier or more fun. And I want to share with you a couple relevant examples. And then it's really technology that's driving marketing efforts. Marketing is not taking the lead. Okay. So, and then that, whatever technology-oriented type of marketing effort will drive messagings, creative development, PR, AR efforts, social media, retail, and really the marketing channels right here subject to change based on the initiative that you are driving. So let me share that with you.
South Korea is a unique market. Tesco has been evolving itself, adjusting to the local market. It even changed the name itself from Tesco to Home Plus. And at last, it grew to rank number 2 in Korea. But Tesco had to overcome one obstacle, a fewer number of stores compared to the number 1 company, E-Mart. Mission: could we become number 1 without increasing the number of stores? We made an in-depth study into Koreans once more. Koreans are the second most hardworking people in the world. For them, grocery shopping once a week is a dreaded task. So we decided to approach these busy and tired people. Idea: let the store come to the people. We created virtual stores, hoping to blend into people's everyday lives. Our first try was subway stations. Although virtual, the displays were exactly the same as actual stores, from the display to the merchandise. Only one thing was different. You use smartphones to shop. Scan the QR code with your phone, and the product automatically lands in your online cart. When the online purchase is done, it will be delivered to your door right after you get home. People can relax more after work and on weekends.
실제로 보면서 사니까 진짜 더 좋은 것 같아요. 편하기도 하고.
Result: people can shop at Tesco Home Plus wherever they go without having to visit the actual store. Moreover, we could change their waiting time to shopping time. After this campaign, online sales increased tremendously. Through this campaign, 10,287 consumers visited the online Home Plus mall using smartphones. The number of new registered members rose by 76%, and online sales increased 130%. Currently, Home Plus has become number 1 in the online market and is a very close second offline.
Oh, sorry. So that's technology-driven experience. And I mentioned I want to share 2 examples, how to use technology to make your life easy or make it fun. And next example is making it fun.
In Peter's Carnival, you can find everything. Men dressed as women, enemies having fun together, maestros, and even those who insist on drinking and driving. With this in mind, Nasdaq Beer, the official sponsor of Rio de Janeiro's Carnival, had an idea. The beer turnstile, an incentive to make people use public transportation after drinking. In a subway station near where the street carnival groups gathered, we developed a new turnstile in which the fare was paid with an empty beer can. Optical reading recognized Antártica's beer can and freed the access to the underground. Results couldn't have been better. The beer turnstile received an average of 1,000 people per hour, a volume 86% higher than conventional turnstiles on the same day. The number of drunk drivers caught dropped 43%. The collected cans were donated to a recycling NGO. The beer turnstile became news on social networks and several communication mediums, which talked about the brand's social responsibility. Antártica Beer. If you drink, don't drive.
All right, what do you think? Thank you. And so have you noticed this integrated marketing type of effort is really not driven by campaigns, or is driven by, it's a little bit by product. But the first example is purely on technology. And the second one is too, if you think about it. And for all of us doing marketing, we know to do this type of marketing require the logistics behind it to make it happen is massive. Imagine for this, you have to talk to the city government, about the subway train station. You have to set up space, and in addition to regular turnstile, you have to set up a special space, and you have to test it. And you have to, there's a lot of stuff that logistics that get into it to make it work, right? If you think about it, when a lot of younger millennials, they always ask me, oh, you know what, marketing is so cool, I want to do marketing. And I look at them, I say, are you serious? Marketing is a sweatshop. You sure you want to do that? Anyway. When I said that, I guess you understand what I'm talking about. It is. So, you know, I'm showing you a video and say, oh God, that looks so cool, but the amount of work behind it to make that happen, it's massive, massive. And also, then it's a technology and also the ideas that driving the conversation. And the conversation did not come from you per se, it's other people are talking about it. All of a sudden, that's part of your integrated marketing effort. Does that make sense? So this, I hate saying it. The character, did you like this slide? Did you like this slide? See the stuff move? Yeah. I know. So it's a technology takes the lead. Again, it's a big initiative and big budget. This stuff, you cannot do it with bottom up. It has to be top down, right? And then experience-driven is a purely experience-driven. It's not really product-driven. It's experience. It's giving the experience to your audience that they can shop easier online, or they can buy your product and then they can use it for something else that also have additional benefit for them. So it's experience-driven. And the marketing complements technology. Right here is not marketing takes the lead. It's the technology that takes the lead. So what is the key takeaway? Find out what's going on. If you are working for big enterprise, sometimes they have some interesting initiatives. And find out what they are and see if you convert that into something that other people can talk about. That's the first. And you have to look at outside of marketing. And if you're working on the client side and a smaller company, then give some thought. You're working on a smaller company, hold that thought. I have a couple creative ideas to share with you. And if you are working on the agency side, when you talk to your clients, ask them questions what they do outside their marketing departments. What are some of your clients are doing in their R&D departments. Find out what are some other departments are doing and see if that's something that's marketing worthy and that can be discussed and talked about. So, best practices for this type of effort, technology takes the lead, IT plays a huge role, and then user experience needs to be seamless, right? So when you actually do online buying, you need to make sure that stuff get on the phone. It's very easy for them to understand from one step to another, so user experience is key. And then the key things about two examples I'm sharing with you, it's very hard to scale to different regions. Because my role is global, any kind of activities I do, I need to think about it, how that can be scaled to different regions. And the beer turnstile, like I said, may be very hard to go to a country in Middle East, for example, which is, or certain states that the drinking is limited. And even for the South Korea online shopping, and that might be harder to do in India, right? And here, if I look at majority of your phone, it's probably iPhone or smartphone, right? Either Android or iOS. But in India, they have over 1,000 SKUs because the income disparity is so huge. The phone configurations and also different operating system is massive over there. So to do actually online shopping in the country of India is actually very challenging. So this kind of effort is very hard to scale globally. And another thing is test, test, test. Given that you're using technology, you know how it goes, you have to test multiple times. All right, next one, traditional marketing and small. That's usually regular type of marketing effort, and some of you probably do on regular basis. And this is very much a demand gen or lead gen type of effort. You have email campaigns, you have a social media effort, outreach, and that would drive the traffic to the company website or the store visits. And then from there, you either download the content or have purchased with certain type of effort. And this is very much existing budget. The budget has been allocated. It's something that we do on a timely basis. It's routine. Using existing creative. This is not something new new creative that you need, and tend to be bottom up. This is something like a lot of you probably do regular basis, including myself. So with that being said, the key thing is you want to automate it. You want to make sure that it's something that you do on a regular basis. It's not a manual process every single time. Find a way, try to automate the process. And compelling content to drive engagement and clear call to action. If you do an email campaign, the objective of an email campaign, what do you want your audience to get out of it? You want them to download a piece of white paper, or you want them to actually click on the coupon so they can go to your site and buy stuff? You need to make sure that you have a very clear call to action. So this is a regular type, a routine type of marketing effort. All right, now, start with the content and one idea. This is what I call new and small. It's a new marketing and also requires some small budget or no budget. And there's a couple examples I want to share with you.
Throughout Brazil, there is a lack of blood in the blood banks. In the blood bank of the state of Bahia, the situation wasn't different. It's a fact. People only think about donating blood when someone they really like is in need. So to increase the donations, we made an invitation for people to donate blood for their greatest passion, their football team.
O esporte começa falando de uma novidade.
O Vitória conseguiu mobilizar a torcida.
Teve uma ideia criativa. Mudou até o tradicional uniforme rubro-negro do time.
Por um motivo nobre, doação de sangue.
We took off the red from the traditional jersey of Vitória from Bahia, one of the most important teams in Brazil. With more than 100 years of history, for the color to come back, fans would have to do their part, donate their blood for the club.
A campanha em prol do nome foi lançada sábado no jogo contra o Avaí.
Vitória sempre deu sangue. Você, é hora de retribuir.
Parabéns, o Vitória. O rubro-negro tirou vermelho porque tá faltando sangue no Brasil e na Bahia.
A cada jogo, uma listra vermelha na camisa, simbolizando o número de doações.
O Vitória está fazendo uma campanha para doação de sangue e assim voltar a vestir as cores rubro-negras.
Isso aí vai virar relíquia aí na história do Vitória, né?
A gente sabia que ia ter uma repercussão nacional, mas a repercussão internacional realmente foi uma grande surpresa pra gente.
Meu sangue é rubro-negro chega ao final nessa terça-feira.
A parceria entre o Vitória e o Emoba aumentou o número de doadores de sangue na Bahia.
Eu acho que eu nunca fui tão impactado quanto essa campanha do Vitória.
And I know some of you are working for nonprofit organizations, and when they started this, there was no marketing campaign. They didn't do any kind of marketing effort. They invested $15,000, literally, just have new jerseys for the players to wear. And then, of course, the media picked that up, and then becomes integrated marketing effort later on. But when it started, it was just, you know what, why don't we try this? It may work. And it turned out to be a big thing and get people to donate blood. It started with one simple idea and to get the audience to do something. And I have a feeling moving forward, when you're thinking about integrated marketing, it's what are some of your nuggets that you can think about for your organization that you can get your customer to do something. Not necessarily do it for themselves and for you, maybe for a greater good. And I want to share with you, there was a conversation later and I had with one hotel marketing directors, and they say they have no budget. I'm going to hold on to my thoughts and share a couple comments that she made in terms of doing some of the marketing based on simple ideas. But I thought I shared this with you in terms of, hey, this started with literally very little budget, but it started with an idea. So it's hard to come up with ideas. At Intel, we come up with multiple ideas and we fail miserably. What I'm trying to tell you is, on the road to something that will get people talking or buzzworthy, there's a lot of efforts that go into it, and you just have to keep trying and trying to find that nugget, and there's not much to it. And ideas are worthless unless it's being executed, and you just have to try. Okay. All right, and the shirt that was actually with a white stripe is the most pirated shirts in that football team history. And it sells on the street market, and it was actually outsold the regular jersey during that period of time. So think small. Again, it's a customer-driven experience and start with the simple ideas. And this type of integrated marketing effort is started with some sort of idea, and hopefully, somebody will talk about that instead of you. Okay, so there's another idea I want to share with you really quickly. So start with an awesome ideas and bring to life. Get your customer, get your fans to do something, and then the integrated marketing effort will follow after that. Okay, I have another example. So, if you think about it, moving forward, a lot of stuff I'm talking about, even though I divide it into 4 quadrants, I think moving forward with the technology and also the rise of new media, that 4 quadrant eventually will be merged. Everything is started with some sort of customer experience.
Welcome to Yotel. Step inside with me as we take a tour of this trendy, high-tech hotel in Times Square.
Let's go. Let's go.
So, I checked into that hotel literally 3 weeks ago. Lee and I both were speaking at that event. It's called Yotel. And it was a very interesting experience. I walked in, and there was no counter, and there's a 4 monitor that's set up, and I have to self-check-in. It's very similar to airport. Nowadays, when you go to the airport, you do self-check-in, and then the flying attendant, then someone will take your bags, and in the hotel, Montreal, I was there a couple days ago. They don't even have people to check your bag. You have to check the bag yourself. So the owner of the Yotel was actually a pilot. So he was a pilot, and he had this concept in terms of want to do a hotel that's a little bit differently. So it created a hotel, minimized a lot of manpower. And then you can see the robot literally taking your luggage and checking to a box. So they try to minimize the number of the people that needed to do a job. And then when I check into a hotel and go to my room, and the bed is kind of like a hospital bed. So you push a button, it will roll up so you can sit in your bed. So that safe space. So the space that's needed in real estate in New York is pretty expensive, right? So you don't need to put extra chairs so you can sit. So there's no chair, except the chair right next to the desk. So they try to maximize the space as much as possible. And I found that concept extremely interesting. So I send an email to their press, and I say, can I talk to your marketing director? I love this hotel, and by the way, it's $250 a night. How can you get a $259 per night hotel in New York City that's less than 3 blocks away from Times Square? Try it, seriously, next time when you go to the city. No kidding. And then I called, and the press responded to me right away and said, yeah, if you want to talk to Joe, no problem. So I had a conversation with Joe Barrington, marketing director in UK. And this is what she told me. She said, Pam, we have no budget. They are in the process expanding. So they built 2 hotels near Heathrow and also near Amsterdam. And they just built this New York hotel like a couple of years ago, and they are building another hotel in Singapore. And I was like, this is great, and you are telling me you have no budget? Yeah, we have no budget. So every marketing they do have to get someone else to talk about them, not themselves talk about themselves. Does that make sense? And she just basically said, Pam, you need to know your audience. You need to know what your brand stands for. So they actually have brand guidance talking about the spirit and essence of their brand. They also know their audience actually fairly well. So any kind of ideas they think about it, they want to make sure it reflects their brand and also something that the younger generation or people who stay there can talk about it. Right here, this one is they said there's a renovation on the 4th floor of this hotel, and their whole restaurant needs to be renovated. So they put this, in any kind of renovation, they will put this, they will surround it, block this whole area, and you will hear a lot of noise. And they used the wall that was block the renovated area, and they built a wall for Lego. So they have thousands and thousands of Legos on 2 buckets. So they are using the wall without spending a dime, right? And then they also get the audience and their people who stay in the hotel engaged. So they cannot go to a restaurant because they are fixing it, so they have no place to go to eat. But if nothing else, they can start playing with logo. And that drove such a huge traffic. Everybody was taking the photos, the stuff they do, and they posted on internet and hashtag Yotel. And what I'm trying to say is, it's a very simple idea, but get someone else talking about it. And because got enough traffic generated, Joe was thinking about how they can do an integrated marketing effort and then move it forward. Does that make sense? So a lot of us, we don't have budget. I get it. But you just have to pay attention. And sometimes I can tell you I'm not creative. Look at me. I mean, I dress all black, for crying out loud. But then work with your agencies and then find somebody that's creative in your team and make sure they open their eyes. Joe told me that to get this going, for example, they thought, you know what, April Fool's Day. Let's create some funny April Fool's video, a video uploaded to YouTube and see if they can generate any traffic. Nothing. It went flat. So they are just keep trying different ideas and see what will create the buzz. And then once the buzz is generated, they create integrated marketing effort around it to build bigger buzz. So with no budget, what I have come to realize is you need to actually have somebody who is creative, either on your agency side or your team, and then have a regular brainstorming meeting. She does that every Tuesday, 1 hour, and her team only 3 people, total of 4 people doing marketing effort for Yotel. I have never heard of Yotel in my whole life until I checked into that hotel. And it got me talking. It got me talking to you, and they didn't pay me, trust me. So what I'm trying to tell you is, in a lot of integrated marketing effort nowadays, you just have to keep trying. There's not much to it, and there's no shortcut. So that wasn't interesting. So marketing budget is very small. Then you have to focus on creative ideas. Don't you like Stormtrooper? An apple? So you do need to know your audience and know your brand well, and the weekly brainstorming session. And really just brainstorm and talk about it. Sometimes talking and also searching online is your best creative juice. And get others to talk about it. Hustle, AKA sweatshops. Test, 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 and keep trying. So, in summary, that's not what I see you at the end. But this is kind of summarize what I want to share with you. You can do integrated marketing by thinking big or thinking small. Understand your objectives. I think that's incredibly important. Started with some ideas. Test, test, test your ideas. And then fail quickly and try something else. With that being said, there's another thing I want to share with you. Another bonus point. So this is interesting. As of last Friday, I left Intel. And after 2 decades, 20 years. And I decided to do something on my own. And I had nothing to do, so I wrote a book. So it's called Content Marketing, and you will be launched on Content Marketing World in September. And if you go to Amazon.com and type my name, it will show up. And, but again, it's content related, it's more on global scale. It may not relate to a lot of stuff that you do, but if you are interested in reading it, check it out. But there's one thing I do want to share with you. Vishal is a colleague of mine, and he took me out for lunch just to bid farewell. And that was very nice of him. And he wear a shirt, a Nike shirt. Have you noticed that there's a flash right here? It's a Nike logo. Apparently on some of their wearables or their shirt, when you take a photo, it will flash. And guess what? When you upload it to Instagram or Facebook, they can actually track it. Technology driven. Exactly. Nowadays, think about it. Just think about it. And we have no privacy anymore. So don't do anything bad. That's my presentation. Thank you so much. Do we have time for Q&A? I'm not sure. Okay. Please.
In your example with Tesco and eMart, the name eMart to me suggested that it was some type of online capability to shop for groceries.
No, it's not. eMart is actually a #1 retail grocery store in South Korea. They feel eMart is very trendy and very tech-driven, but it's really a physical retail stores. Yeah.
And then when you were with Intel, what was the climate like to gain and become an agency of record?
Okay, the question I want to make sure that I repeat the question. What is the climate, or how do you become an agency of record for Intel? I can speak this actually for multiple different technology companies, and usually for big company like HP, Dell, Intel, they have agency of record for creative, right? So advertising tend to be global, so they have agency for creative. They have agency for digital marketing for HP.com, Dell.com, Intel.com. They tend to have an agency of record. And media, they have an agency of record. So if we usually buy media on global scale in multiple different countries, so any kind of media buy at that kind of scale, they tend to allocate, they have agency of record. So agency of record tend to be creative, media, digital marketing, specifically for .com. And then the rest of it is kind of like you have a chance to become an agency of record, but you have to talk to multiple different people. On the B2B side, we generate a lot of content, right? So for business, for computers or for server, we generate a lot of content, white paper, solution briefs, or whatnot. It's easy to actually do that. Smaller scale type of project with a big company. There's a process. I can talk about it offline. Okay. Any other question, please?
Your presentation rocked, by the way.
Thank you. You're so kind. You know what? You guys rock. Show up at 8:30. I'm so impressed.
I wanted to ask. I followed the South Korean. I've been following that for quite a while. That's a fun. And I don't know if you've seen the Volkswagen Fun campaigns, but it's very much along the same lines where you involve the customers. And make it fun. Where do you see gamification coming into the marketing world? Is there a connection there?
Yes, it does. And I don't know if there's any kind of loyalty agency or membership type of agencies that you focus on a lot of membership buildings or the loyalty programs. I see gamification tied up with the memberships programs, any kind of membership benefits. For example, you play certain games, you gain certain points, and then you can exchange certain kind of benefits. So I can see the relationship to that. But again, I also see everything that you do has to come back to your business objective and the marketing objective. Don't do for the sake of doing and building buzz. Build a buzz strategically. Does that make sense? A lot of time I will say, oh my God, I love that idea. And then I have to sit back and say, God damn it, it doesn't go with Intel brand. I want to sell sex too. So, anyway, but I hear you. Yes, there is definitely a huge play moving forward. But initially, I see it tied with the membership and also loyalty programs. Any other questions? Thank you so much.